Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver George Pickens calls out the Rams players for trying to get him ejected from yesterday's game. So it all started in the first half when Deontay Johnson caught the ball short of the first down yardage, and he did what we all hate. He ran backwards, but then turned upfield and actually turned it into a positive. In past years, he would have went for negative and even more negative plays. But he turned upfield and was able to get a huge gain running up from the right sideline to the left sideline. And as he was cutting across the field, George Pickens, he set a block. But it was a crackback block, which is illegal in the NFL, and he drew a penalty on the play. And ever since that moment, him and the cornerback and the defensive backs for the Rams starting to get in each other's faces and started talking throughout the game. Then, a little bit later on in the game, George Pickens ran across the middle of the field. Kenny Pickett threw him the ball, and he kind of stuck out his arm to catch the ball. But the guy who he set the block on, that was illegal, that he had down on the field for a while after because he was a little bit injured, he was running across the field trying to get the ball and make the catch. But he came up short because he saw the player coming across to hit him over the middle of the field. So he kind of stuck out his hand and didn't go full force out to catch the ball. So that was a second instant. And then a little bit later on in the game, those two met again, where they both got in each other's faces, and George Pickens made a catch along the sideline, and he got a taunting penalty for it, which kind of neglected what he got in terms of the yardage for the catch that he made down the sideline when the Steelers needed him most down the stretch of the game, trying to go up and tie the game or take the lead. So that's kind of the background information you need to know for this upcoming quote I'm about to say that George Pickens revealed to the media after the game, talking about the Rams players throughout the game. Here it is. A game like this showed me that they're kind of looking for me to try to mess up, and guys are trying to antagonize me more. Today's the first day I've seen anything like that. Guys are really trying to get me out of the game or get me under the skin deliberately. All I can say is really keep fighting hard. End quote. So that's what he had to say about the Rams players trying to get under his skin and kind of exploit his emotions as a weakness and hopefully get him kicked out the game, get him more taunting penalties, doing something bad, like kind of hitting them when unexpected, maybe that punch across the face that the players do for no reason because they have a helmet on, so it doesn't make any sense, trying to check his emotions and kind of get him kicked out the game and exploit those emotions. Obviously, now that he realized it, it's still better to be calm than to just get kicked out the game and get penalized, ejected, fined, or even suspended for no reason. There's a lot that rides on these games, and George Pickens knows that now, that the players are trying to get under his skin. It should be a well-known fact that this is happening, because we even saw it last season as well, many times, where George Pickens would be arguing with a player. They're trying to get under your skin. They're trying to make you make a mistake. That's what the football game is about. It's not just about hitting. It's getting into your mind and playing with your emotions and kind of getting under your skin to get the best of you. And George Pickens needs to realize that, and now he does realize that. But he can't let his emotions get the best of him in terms of the penalties. Because, yes, it's one thing to get a penalty early in the game when there's still a lot of game left, but then there's another thing to get a taunting penalty in the fourth quarter when you're going to make a game-winning drive or try to tie the game up late in the quarter, especially when your offense is not doing good. And that's what happened. He caught the ball down the sideline, the left sideline. Kenny Pickett threw the fade route to him, and then he had the taunting penalty, which neglected the catch. So you can't do that in certain situations. Usually you can't even do that at all, but in certain situations, it's even worse, and he needs to pick his spots if he is. Obviously, you don't want him to get any penalties. You just want him to play football and then go back to the line of scrimmage, play football again. But if he is going to talk his talk, then pick your spots and when you do it. But then know when to hold it back and know when your team needs you the most to be there and be in the game. So you even saw it on the sideline many times when George Pickens would make that block. Mike Tomlin went right up to him, talked to him, and then right after the taunting penalty, Mike Tomlin once again met him on the sideline, talk to him, get in his head that you can't do that. You need to be better. You need to keep your emotions intact. But even Mike Tomlin, in his press game conference, was asked about this, and he had many things to say about George Pickens' actions on the field. Here's a quote. Obviously, we got to clean up some things from a management of our emotions perspective. And then he continued on saying, I would much rather say whoa than sick 'em. So, obviously, he used that term before, and obviously, he would rather people go full out than kind of have to pull them back and rail them in and kind of tell them, hey, you got to be more into the game. He'd rather them be into the game and kind of hold them back than have to make them get more into the game. That's what he's basically saying with those kind of quotes. And then he said this, grow, learn and grow. I'm talking about as we move forward, there's nothing we can do about what transpired today, but we can learn from our experiences if we're professional, and it's reasonable to expect that to happen. End quote. So Mike Tomlin, he doesn't seem too kind of worried about the actions that's on the field, and he would rather his players go full out. And I kind of get it, because some players need extra motivation, some players don't. And usually the ones that need extra motivation aren't into the game and aren't the top tier players. And the players that don't need that extra motivation are usually the ones who have the extra motivation already in them, and they have that chip on their shoulder, and they're going full out. And they're guys like George Pickens, who's already playing with an edge and kind of playing already physical. And you want those type of players, and those players are usually the kind of best players in the NFL and the best players at their position. So George Pickens, he has many ways to grow, and even though he's getting these penalties, it's rather him play full out than him have to get into the game, him kind of be walking around there and not giving it his all. But if he's into the game, you know he's 100% going out on each route, on each catch, trying to make a play. And that's what you want from your wide receiver, and especially someone who's only in his third year now, second year of the team. So you're trying to see him produce on the field, you're trying to see him produce off the field, see him grow, and him only being in his second season, he has much more to grow. This isn't a finished product of George Pickens, and as he kind of sees the game develop from a personal perspective, emotional perspective, not just a physical perspective, he's going to switch his whole mindset, and he's going to expect growth in his game. So this isn't like one thing where it's like, oh, he's turning into the next Antonio Brown because of what he does on the field. No, let him grow, let him turn himself around, and let him be in the game. And that's what we want as fans. Even though we don't want these penalties, we want to see a player get fired up and be excited and be emotional, but emotional in the right way about the game. That's what we want to see from the sidelines or from the stands or from watching on TV. We want to see the players get into it, kind of talk the talk with the other team, and not be all this friendly kind of matchup behavior with the other team. And even Deontay Johnson, if you remember, late in the game, when he made a catch down the sideline and he was going to the left sideline, he talked to Ahkello Witherspoon, the former Steeler, and the refs threw a flag on the play. Deontay Johnson was putting his hand over his nose, telling Ahkello Witherspoon to shh after getting a penalty, a pass interference call against Deontay Johnson, and Deontay Johnson kind of went in his face and did that. But even though that was more type of a playful thing because those two were teammates, and you could see that Deontay Johnson was laughing about it, kind of doing that to a guy who he's been around for the last 2 seasons. He was doing it as in a more playful way. He still got called for a penalty as well, which neglected a first down and a big play that would have been pass interference and gave the Steelers a better chance to win the game. And then after that, then they had to kind of get back the first down, and then that's when the quarterback sneak drive happened. So Deontay Johnson, even him, a veteran in this league, someone who's been in this league for a while, even like his emotions get the best of him when he did that, even though he was probably in a playful manner, but the ref didn't see it that way. You have to be wary that the refs don't know that you two were teammates. They don't know that you two were together for 2 seasons on the same team, and you're kind of doing it more in a playful way. It doesn't matter. You got to keep your emotions in check. You got to do it in a way that you know the refs won't penalize you for it. And even Deontay Johnson, who has been in this league for a while, got the best of him there. So, Deontay Johnson, even he has to keep himself in check as well. So it's not just George Pickens, it's other players on the field. But with that being said, let me know down in the comments below, how do you feel about this? Do you feel as though George Pickens and Diontae Johnson are costing the Steelers? Or would you rather, what Mike Tomlin say, you would rather say, whoa, than sick 'em? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content, analysis, reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for this channel as well, so you get notified whenever I post next Steelers video. I cover everything Pittsburgh Steelers every single day with a new video, news, rumors, highlights, reports, analysis, reactions, game breakdowns, everything like that. So like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications for this channel. I'll see you guys all next time. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.